daddy just marijuana, daddy smokes marijuana, daddy's got a chungaye. My daddy rode Don Quixote, daddy rode El Quixote, daddy's got a chungaye. I say no, 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 no more tequila, no. I say yeah, 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 I got a chungaye. Mama swims in Argentina, mama's got a chungaye. My mama swims in Venezuela, mama likes Cinderella, mama's got a chungaye. I say hola, hola. My mama cooks in Italy, mama swims in Argentina, mama's got a chungaye. My mama's working in Venezuela, mama likes Cinderella, mama's got a chungaye. I say hola, 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 bossa nova. I say yeah, 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 I got a chungaye. Daddy just marijuana, daddy smokes marijuana, daddy's got a chungaye. My daddy rode Don Quixote, daddy rode El Quixote, daddy's got a chungaye. I say no, 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 no more tequila, no. I say yeah, 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 I got a chungaye. Mama swims in Argentina, mama's got a chungaye. My mama swims in Venezuela, mama likes Cinderella, mama's got a chungaye. I say hola, hola. stop me out. Don't stop me. Gonna get real high, gonna get real high. Superstar cat out of hell. Don't stop me out. I'm having such a good time. Throw me my ball. Don't stop me out. I just wanna lick my ass now and take a shit in the hall. Don't stop me out. Don't stop me out. Ow.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to Planet Lizzdom. Oh my god, I am so stoked about tonight's episode. That was the most amazing commercial for the most amazing new product I have ever seen. And when you find out who our guest is tonight, you are going to be blown away. Everybody, I'm Lizzdom. I am your host of Planet Lizzdom. For those of you who have never joined us before, welcome. This is a platform for creators, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and artists just like yourself. And what we're doing now is we're highlighting how not only are you surviving this crazy time, but you're thriving. And our guest tonight is no exception. He's amazing. He's fantastic. He is Mikey 5 Bucks, and he is the purveyor of the Catnip Dispensary Incorporated. Everybody, I want you to give a very warm welcome to my guest tonight, Mikey 5 Bucks. Mikey, how are you?
Hi, Liz. How are you doing?
Oh my god, I'm fantastic. Your commercial pumped me up so much. Oh my god.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Yeah, so much fun. It just taking different compilations of different cats getting stoned on the product. And my good friend Tyler does ringtones and like custom ringtones for you in any style you want. And I just thought, I have a strain called Freddie Perkery. I was like, hey, you know what? Don't stop me out. Let's do it. Right? So.
It is brilliant. I mean, I have goosebumps again, and I am wearing like a full-on hoodie.
Oh, right on.
Which I'm wearing for you tonight. I want you to see. It's my crazy stoner cat. Let me get
Yeah.
an amazing comment. My sister actually gave this to me for my birthday as I
Nice.
pulled it up,
Love
and I'm
that.
dying to wear it.
So cool. Nice.
So, okay, for those who may not know you, because I actually met you at Something Strange a couple of years back when you were performing, because you're not only a sideshow performer, but you're a wonderful artist as well. What is the origin of the name Mikey 5 Bucks?
Well, I was pretty much like a person you could dare to do anything for the most part, and people would just, you know, hey, just do this, do that, and be like $20, $30, something like that, and then randomly the economy had crashed and nobody, I don't know, like people would be like, I'm not going to pay you $20 to do that, or I'm not going to give you $30 to do that, and it was just sort of like, how about $5? And they're like, yeah, okay. We're like, okay, and then it just stuck. It was just an easy number to part with, and I just kept going with it. Because you can do a whole lot with $5. You can, you know what I mean? Like you can get somewhere with gas. You can, you know, eat, like so many different things. And I was currently living in my car at the time too, so it really came in handy. So,
Holy crap! I had no idea.
oh yeah.
I remember you had an art show at Disgraceland where you had done ketchup art on plates.
Yep.
Which was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was a random idea that came up. I was hungover at a breakfast place with a bunch of friends, and there was a squeeze bottle on the table, and I just wrote "thank you" on the plate, and you know, the waitress came up. She's like, "Oh, that's awesome! No, thank you." And I was just like, "Oh, cool." It's like I've never actually drawn before that, so I was always stick people and whatnot too. So, you know, a couple of days later, I was hungover at a breakfast place again, and with some friends, and there was a squeeze bottle, and I just drew a stick person giving a thumbs up, and then it just wrote like "fucking great" on the top, and you know, then the dishwasher came out. He's like, "Oh, that's so awesome!" And then I just kept doing it, slowly getting better. Do like the Batman logo, being like, "No, breakfast." And
yes, I remember that.
yeah. And then they started popping up online. I'm like, oh, maybe there's something here. So I just used it as a winter project. I just got ketchup, a whole bunch of plates from the dollar store, and then just started practicing. And I learned how to draw with ketchup. So
You did a really great job. Like I remember sitting with my beer in disgrace and looking at all the plates in the window going, or on the wall going, it's pretty cool.
Thanks.
That's really fucking smart.
Yeah, it's kind of like I just come up with crazy ideas and I love watching them come to life. And you can pretty much do that if you have the right focus. You just focus on it, obsess over something. I just obsessed over wanting to do better plates. And then my friends over at Jinx Art Factory are like, these are getting pretty good. Like, do you want to display them? We have a local Parkdale show coming up. And I was just sort of like, oh, okay. And then just from there, I had to figure out, how am I going to do this? And so I had to figure out, I had to find a clear coat to do it. You know what I mean? And I ended up getting iPad stands from the dollar store to like display them up. And people seem to enjoy them. And it was just like in a whole bunch of mixed art. So I don't know, it's kind of fun. It stood out in a way. But
I love that. Well, and I mean, there again, is the perfect example of process. Like, I'm a huge fan of the fact that process always leads to revelation.
Absolutely.
That you would never have gotten to if you hadn't started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's kind of how we're arriving at your Catnip Dispensary. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I know for me it was March 2020, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. Of all days, like, come on. Yeah. Give me the 18th, please.
Yeah.
But I remember, just being completely sideswiped, and I was like, well, I'm an artist and I don't know what to do. Like, it's the end of days. I'm just going to watch Netflix and bury my head in the blankets. How was it for you?
It was kind of a no-brainer for me because I was kind of like on the road working festivals, just all over the place in the entertainment side of things, just even like a local stagehand at all the venues in Toronto as well too. So when it all shut down, I was working on the Catnip Dispensary on the side, and I kind of just went, you know what, I'm just going to go full on into it, and then just didn't stop, just kept going, and so like financially it sucked, I'm not going to lie. So but hanging in there, still going.
Well, I have to say, I really loved your daily posts with your cat, Evol. He is just so cute. I have a photo here that I found on Facebook that I just think is the cutest little thing. He's such a little good helper.
Oh, yeah.
Good little helper. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Did you find that, he would, I don't know, slack off while you were packing things up and, test the product?
No, she does test every single batch. Yeah, no worries. But I mean, like, she wakes me up every morning if I'm slacking off and sleeping in. She just comes up and wakes me up. So it's like she really does motivate me in that sense. And as I'm going through each day that I go out and I forage, she just sits there and smells it, checks it. She's a quality control expert as well too. So and she's also the security guard here too. So
is she now?
Yep. Have a fun security hoodie for that I just put the logo on as well too. So it's
she's Paw Patrol.
Yeah. Evol edition.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I love that you're always having breakfast with her in front of your green screen, and you always have a different background.
That's right. Yeah, I love having fun with it. I kind of just at the beginning of the pandemic, I updated my phone for some reason. It needed an update. And then I went on to iMovie and it just said new green screen added since you've updated. And I just went, oh, no way. And I kind of had like a lime green wall here. So I just tested it out and learned how to use it. And then I was sort of like, oh, okay, this is fun. So I just painted this whole wall behind me green just to have epic mealtime with her. So
your meal times with her are so epic. They're just so cute.
Yeah.
And what is the story of Evol? How did Evol come into your life?
Well, I was living in a different apartment at this building at the time, and with a roommate, and he came in and he was just sort of like, oh, there's this couch across the street, like I really want it for our balcony. It's really cool. And it's just like, oh, okay. And it was one of those days where it's like minus 30, like maybe like 40 with the wind chill, like it hurt your face to be outside. And so we go across the street and I'm looking at it. I'm sort of like, oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. This is all right. And I just heard meowing. And Evol was just sitting there frozen in a snowbank. I was just like, whoa, oh, you're oh, this is not good. You're definitely frozen here. And we started carrying the couch in, and she just kept climbing up my leg. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, you're not going to make it through the night out here for sure. And we ended up taking the couch back because when we hit the lobby lights, we realized there was piss all over it. We're like, well, yep, going back. But she literally walked all the way inside here. Like she walked into the front doors, into the elevator, and then I was holding her. And then when the elevator doors open, I put her down, and she followed right to the door and went inside. And she ran past my roommate's room and jumped up onto my bed and just fell asleep. And I was like, well, I guess this is happening. All right, cool. So I went down, made a makeshift litter box, got some cat food, and it's just like. My ex-girlfriend at the time printed up a whole bunch of found posters, and we put them up everywhere as well too. And then after 5 days, I was like, wait, no one's looking for this cat. So there wasn't that many like Facebook groups you can look into at the time. So it kind of just like, hey, if it pops up, like, absolutely, it's your cat sort of thing. But she's frozen outside, and
poor thing.
Yeah.
Well, I always believe that you don't choose them; they choose you.
Oh, she definitely chose me. It was like she saw our future. When she saw me, it's just like, oh yeah, there's gonna be cat climbing shelves, there's gonna be catnip, there's gonna be everything. So
your house is a paradise for her.
Oh yeah. Like I don't know, I just love creativity in that sense too. But I'm in a bachelor apartment in Toronto, and it's just kind of, I got to make the best space for her as possible. So it's just, there's a whole second level here too. It's just all different ramps and little hidden condos. Put a hole in my walls so she can like jump through and go up on top of my kitchen cabinets and
oh wow,
while I'm cooking. And yeah,
you're like cat dad of the year.
Yeah, she's spoiled. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I noticed earlier you had made a swing in your living room out of I think it was a snowboard, or was it a
snowboard? It's a skate deck. Yeah,
skate deck. That was what it was.
Yep. And it's got the grip tape on the top. It's actually perfect. It's nice and lightweight. I just made it out of a hammock that I had, just the ropes for it. And literally, I just bought two things. I just bought the rings that go in, and and a drill bit, because it's a concrete roof here. I just had a dream one night, and I was in a pretty dark time at the time, just with isolation. I had a dream that I was super happy swinging in a swing set in my room, in my apartment here. And I just went, you know what? I woke up and I'm like, this is happening today. I just messaged a friend, you have a hammer drill I can borrow? Okay. And I just, made like scrap wood on my balcony, because I have lots of just scrap everything here. I love just creating things out of nothing, basically. So I don't know. And then by that afternoon, I was swinging in a swing set. Then
I love it. See, if I did it, I would do it wrong, and I would swing once and wham, it would fall out of the ceiling.
Oh, I did that a few times. I learned different anchors and whatnot. It was trial and error. I took out my table a couple of times. It's kind of wonky right now, but I started drilling, and on one of them I hit a pipe at one time too, because I don't know what's up there. And I was like, well, we had to stop. And then the next one was kind of wonky, and I put it in, and but I videotaped. I knew I was gonna eat shit, so it's just like, all right, just put a camera up, and I'm like, I know this is happening. Put on a Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Let's do this.
Put on Motley Crue. Well, if you're gonna fail well.
Yeah, right. And I'm perfectly fine with it. But when people do come over, I don't have many people that come by because of the pandemic and whatnot. But when they do, they're just like, yeah, swing set. I'm like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, yeah, at your own risk. I've eaten shit twice, so it's up to you.
You were not responsible for any bruised tailbones or broken wrists or anything like that.
No, I'll set up a crash pad of some sort just in case if you want. If not, just don't take out the catnip display. That's it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I have to say, I love your logo that you have for the Catnip Dispensary. I just want to bring it up again.
Yeah. That's my last cat, Corona. It's a tribute to her.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, actually, all the labels that I have are of cats that I know. The previous cats that I have, friends' cats, and I didn't have one of her yet. And I was just like, okay, you know what? She meant a lot to me. And it was kind of hard because I still wasn't over her when Evol found me. And I was like, oh, no, I can't go through this again. I got crushed by her. And I was like, no, I have to. It's time to move on. But But I thought, you know what, let's make her the logo. That's the best possible tribute. So
Absolutely. I mean, there's no greater honor than that, you know.
Yeah.
I was reading in your Kickstarter actually, and I mean, I am just blown away by your Kickstarter. I think you originally had, I think you were petitioning for about $7,000 to start.
5, yeah.
5, yeah, and you have now 236 backers, and you're at over 13,000.
Yeah, it closed out a while ago. That's where it made it to, and I've shipped out all of them but 2. So it was hard ordering in certain things. And yeah, the different strains there.
Yeah, they're amazing.
It's kind of a creative dream, you know. Yeah.
Well, now you know. Obviously, this is your Catnip Dispensary poster, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that there are 3 different types of strains: Indicat, Cativa, and Hybrid.
Yep, that's a takeoff of sativa, indica, and hybrids. So I kind of like match them up. So when I would have a new strain, I have a bunch of tester kitties. So I send them a whole lot of the strain when it's cured and ready to go, and then they send me a video and what they think it is, and then I can see the reactions. And then when I have a whole bunch of them together, I just look at it and be like, okay, that's a really heavy indicator. This is, and I have a whole pun board here too. So. Just like, okay, you know what? Yeah, that cat's definitely in space. I'm gonna go with Fuzz Aldrin on this one, right? So
I love it. Those names are so good. Like,
oh, thanks. Yeah,
I love it. Critical Mouse. Like, how? What the heck?
Yeah. So that's a takeoff of an indica strain of weed, Critical Mass, and so some of them are weed puns as well, weed cat puns of different strains as well too, and it actually matches similar high to the weed for cats. Like
Pineapple Express.
Yep.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that one actually, when fall hits and all the leaves change color, they all smell the same, but they all still keep the individual high that they have. So I thought it was just a little weird that if someone ordered 2 strains and it's in fall and they have fall colors, they'd think it's the exact same strain, and I was just putting them in different bags. So I decided to just create a hybrid, which I call it, but I just mixed all the strains together with the fall colors in it and made Pineapple Express. Kind of makes a pineapple color too. So yeah, that's how that one came. So it's just a mixed bag of emotions on that one. You don't know what you're gonna get. So.
Well, that's really cool. What about, is this Permafrost?
Yep. Yeah, so that's actually cat mint. And I noticed that I don't think any companies out there have cat mint, and so I thought it was fun to explore with, because there's tons of different strains too. So I even have like a Persian, Hungarian, and Australian strain mixed together as well. So that one it has more energy in it, and then I found with cats, and then it kind of just like mellows out. So I say it's a Cativa dominant hybrid. So it's
see that 5 points fast.
Yeah, right. It's a mouthful.
Oh my gosh. Like when you're selling it, like do you ever, do you have like the inside joke where you're just like, is there like ever that tee-hee moment with your customers where you're like, it's Meow or Diesel or Freddie Mercury, like I want it Meow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's fun because it spreads fun too, and especially with like when at another level when stoners know like the weed strains too, they really get it at that point too. So it's like an extra funny thing inside for them too. And I'm like, it actually matches the same cannabis high as that strain. Like, just tell me about it, right? So like I'm completely open about everything, and it's just like, give me your honest review, like everybody. And it's been like incredible. It's mind blowing. Like it blows my mind that. Like I didn't even know there was different strains, and I just thought, and I Googled it, and it came up. There's over 244 known different cat strains in the world, and I was like, no way. Okay, so I just started collecting them, just collecting as many strains as possible, growing them on my balcony, going out hiking, finding different ones, growing wild, and then just would test them out on friends' cats, and then I noticed. Within the first 3 strains that they all had really different highs, and I was like, oh no way, this is actually real. Okay, because that's just how it comes to. It's like I haven't seen anybody do this before, so I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
This is super original. I remember I actually literally squealed out loud when I saw it. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Awesome.
You know, like I literally, like, I grabbed all my friends. I was at work on the sales floor. I'm like, I'm gonna be really unprofessional right now and show you this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see this. You know, it was just the coolest thing ever. When you're in the wilds, how can you tell what you're looking at is catnip?
Oh, I've been studying it like crazy since I thought of the idea. And even since like the idea came about because I was at a corner store that had plants at the side, and I was like, oh, I need to get plants. And then and I just saw catnip. I was like, oh no shit, this is what catnip looks like. I had no idea. It's just you just see it all just like ground up and like dehydrated in a pouch for the most part or in a plastic container. And I was like, oh, this is what it actually. Okay, cool. So I got her a couple plants and I made it in the door. Like halfway through the door, and she was already ripping the bag open. She's like, "Oh, I need," and just I was like, "Holy shit!" Dropped it on the ground, and she was going nuts. I was like, "Okay, there's something here." She doesn't go this crazy over normal catnip, so
no.
So from there, I just became obsessed, and I started the Garden of Evol on my balcony, converted it over to a catio, and put other climbing shelves, carpeted it, and then she had her own garden out there, and then I at that point, I didn't know there was different strains or whatnot, but I slowly started the obsession from there and then started diving into it and going into dispensaries. Actually, this is like right before weed was legal and there was dispensaries everywhere. So it's just like, it kind of mixed in there. I was standing there in a dispensary and it's just sort of like, I'm like, I wonder if, that'd be so cool if there was like a little kiosk like on there that was like a play on words with all the different strains, but all catnip ones that they can just spin. It's like, get your cat high while you get high. Just see how she reacted to fresh catnip. So
Best buds forever.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. It's just, I'll keep saying like I became obsessed with it. And it was just even down to how can I get it freshest as possible. And I kind of adapted the cannabis, curing it. So, and I noticed nobody out there is still not doing it too. So, and when I started doing it, it's just like, wow, it's just next level. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, do you find that a lot of people will reach out to you because they feel like they can spoil their cat on a whole new level?
Oh, absolutely. And if they have certain things too, like, oh, my cat's super lazy. Do you have anything that'll get it running around? I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna want the Meower Diesel or the Freddie Perkery for this one. Like the strongest Cativa is, the Meower Diesel, and it's just like getting the laser pointer ready. Like your cat's gonna be running around. They're like, okay, cool. Or they'll be like, oh man, like I need my cat to chill out for a bit. When I go to sleep, it wakes me up. I was just like, all right, the Fuzz Aldrin or the Critical Mouse, the two heavy indicats, and they both have different indicat highs at that too, different levels of mellow. And then if they're not sure, it's like, hey, go for a mystery bag. You know what I mean? Like at that point, go for Pineapple Express or yeah.
Well, from what I understand, the high that your cat experiences is not as long as the high that we would experience. Because sometimes there are some trains that I get on that I really want to get off, and I'm just in it for a good couple of hours, depending on what I've had.
Yeah, it usually lasts about 15 minutes, they say. And that's just like looking at all the different research out there on catnip. Usually the high lasts about 15 minutes and then they're immune to it for about an hour. But it's like, I've been over at friends' places and I've given them like a few different strains and then they would give them the Meower Diesel and then their cats would be running around going crazy. And then 20 minutes later, they'd give them Fuzz Alder and then they're just like mellowed right out. I'm like, oh, crazy.
No.
So, I mean, like every cat's different, like every human's different.
Yeah.
It's when I'd smoke cannabis too, and it was just like I'm more of a sativa person. Unless it's like super late at night and I just want to numb myself, then it's indica. But I could never find the right sativa. Like it's just like, oh, that doesn't. It still gives me like an indica thing. So it's like everyone's different to match their own body. So I don't know.
It's true. Do you find sometimes that Evol has a different is in a different mood for something? Like you'll go to give her one thing, she's like, man, I'm not in the mood for that. Give her that, and she's totally into it.
I mean, I don't really give her catnip anymore because it's all around. She has the option to go up to fresh plants or it's hang drying, and she'll jump up, and she kind of does it herself and self-regulates. Like when she feels like it, she goes like right now she's under where I'm hang drying it right now, and she's fallen asleep under it. It's like picked her strain that she wanted to fall asleep under where it's hang drying.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's like it's all open to her too, so I don't try to bug her about it. She's tried it all. It's been a 3.5 years of her testing it out. So
I love it.
yeah.
Is she a friendly cat? Like, is she a people cat? Is she someone that you could bring with you to, say, for example, a trade show or a pet event?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. Yeah, she's super friendly, but at times I don't know if that would be too much for her. So I'm actually going to be doing a pop-up dispensary coming up August 7th, and we were thinking about having her there. And I'm just like, I don't know if that'd be too much for her. And that's going to be at Parkdale Pet Foods as well, too, which is an awesome new place. It's their 1 year anniversary, so we're going to be doing a pop-up there. So
very cool.
Really, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be the first pop-up ever, so of a catnip dispensary. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
I know, right?
Oh my God, you have to let me know so I could, like, give me all the social things so I can share them out, because that's a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? I'm all about supporting the local, you know, and, you know, I love what you're doing. I really believe in it. I think it is so awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely local too. Like after the past year, and I guess when it got out there in like the media and everything, and people are just like, each thing that I was on, they're like, oh, so when's your storefront opening? When's your storefront opening? I'm like, you know what? Like all the local places just got hammered over the past year and a half. It's just like I'd rather set up in one of their places and, you know, try to, if it drives more business in there, then awesome. That's what I'd love to do right now is, you know, help them out. And Parkdale Pet Foods opened up during the pandemic too, and they're super sweet. They're the nicest people over there, and we've been talking for a long time. And I was just like, okay, it's gonna happen. So it's finally happening, which I'm super excited for.
Well, and I think you're really smart not to have a physical brick and mortar storefront right now because it is so expensive.
Yeah.
No, and you know, I think what you're doing is so special and unique that it really can, you know, live on its own outside of that.
Yeah.
Or at least
I'm mainly going for online right now too. But I did just get offered a store up in Midland, and it's kind of like in the works. It might happen, but it was more for the space because I'm running out of room here. It's filled with catnip everywhere. So it's like, oh, okay. Like there's a chance like, okay, that I could do it, but also use it as my home base. So I can ship out from there, and you know, I mean, it's just like there's a whole basement that I can hang dry and cure. So it's up in the air right now, and it'd be pretty sweet actually. But I'll have to see how it plays out.
Well, and you know, I think time really does kind of tell all in that sort of sense. But you know, I think I'm a big believer in saying yes to opportunity and being open to opportunity.
Absolutely.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
I think, what was I going to say? I think it's really cool what you're doing. Have you thought about doing fresh baked goods with the catnip? Do you think that would do?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've tried out so many different cat treats, and yeah, you know what? Whenever I do it, like I've gone through so many different combinations of recipes online, trying to do it, all the different flours, coconut flour, quinoa flour, this and that, all the different ingredients. Whenever I made it, and my cats would look at me like I'm an asshole. Like, what is this? And I'm like, so I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there.
Oh, geez.
It's going to be one of the next steps for sure. So it's like, this is kind of the beginning of it, but I got to get this rolling to get funds happening so I can move on to the next part. And just, I'm kind of light years ahead of this right now in my mind and all the sketches and every idea that I have. But yeah, that's cat edibles is going to be coming up.
Very cool. Oh my gosh.
Once I can get, you know, some good recipes going. So
I can just picture it. Like I know as a human with edibles, man, there is not a box of cookies near me that's safe when I've had edibles. I remember once I had this particularly good edible Rice Krispie treat, and my friend told me, take a bite, see how you feel. And it was so delicious that I forgot her advice, and I just ate the whole Rice Krispie square. Next thing I know, I'm eating an entire tray of Fudgios, and while I'm eating it, I'm thinking to myself, you know what I could really use right now? Some Fudgios.
Yeah. Yeah.
While I'm eating the Fudgios.
And they're edibles as well too, so just the cycle keeps going.
It was insatiable. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, edibles knock me out. I don't know. I kind of stayed away from them for the most part. Just like someone would give me a huge brownie and be like, okay, I'd eat like a little bit of it, and then nothing would happen.
Yeah.
I'd eat more, and then next thing you know, I'm just like sucked into the couch and not having fun at the party or wherever I was at. I was like, oh no, I can't handle it. I guess I got a low tolerance for cannabis as well too, for the most part.
Well, also, to be fair, no two edible is created equal.
Yeah, I agree.
Some have more THC than others.
Yep.
I learned the hard way this past winter. I took an edible that I thought was 10 grams, but I read the label wrong, and it because I was like, oh, there's 100 grams in here, and this one's probably 10 because there's 10 of them. No problem.
Yeah.
No, there was 100 grams that I ate. And I tripped balls for a full 24 hours.
Oh man, that must have been wild.
As soon as I realized what I had done, I just went, okay, I'm gonna go to bed and sleep it off. I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm an idiot, and I'll be all right.
I mean, yeah, for me and edibles as well too. But when I was eating them, when people would offer them to me, it was kind of like pre-dispensaries too, and it was kind of just when you got weed, it was just like, oh, it's like really good, or it's like, oh, it's just good, or you know what I mean? It was just, yeah, it's a bit mellow, or yeah, it's a bit this, but there was no like actual, I guess, science behind it or whatnot. So you could tell if it was 10 milligrams or 100 milligrams or whatnot too. It's just up to that person's tolerance for the most part. So it's just like, oh yeah, that person has a way higher tolerance, and it just knocked me out, sort of thing. But yeah, it kind of freaked me out with them. I kind of smoke like most nights, but I'm like a late night smoker for myself, because yeah, I'm not productive during the day unless I'm camping. I'll smoke during the day then, and I don't have to go anywhere. It's like, okay, right. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, knowing what works for you is absolutely key.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you find that you get a lot of customers who, how can I put it? So I like to get stoned. Everybody likes to get stoned. For people who have never been stoned before, are they interested in getting catnip for their cats?
Oh yeah.
Do they understand what their cat is going to enjoy?
Yeah. For the most part, because it's in every grocery store, it's in every pet store, and it's a very common thing that's out there. Like it's not a new thing, so most people do know what catnip is, and even people are kind of like at first like, oh, how much do I give? It's going to be too much, because I have it whole, so it's not pre-broken up like most catnip that's out there as well too. I'd be like, just try it out, just give a pinch, but you can't overdo it for the most part. I'm not going to say like 100%, but cats self-regulate themselves too. So
okay.
They'll go up, have a sniff, maybe eat some of it, and then whatever happens next. If it's an indica, just mellow right out, or if it's a sativa, start running around. But it's like cats have just the same amount of chance of like ODing than humans do on cannabis. So which is very, very, very unlikely. So it's like never happens. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, at best you go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. And same with them too. And but it's just like, to start out, just have a little pinch and then try it out. They'll know what to do with it. And then if you want to give more and try it out too, it's kind of the same thing.
That's true.
Yeah, like I do like the 1/8 pounce bags. Oh, so no worries. So they're just like 1/8 of a pounce, just 3.5 grams, and it's whole. So it lasts a long time, because you can just a little bit of pinch here and there. People might not think that it's a lot when you get it, but it actually lasts a really long time. Like it depending if you do it like every day, like maybe like a month and a half or something like that. So like 3.5 grams goes a really long way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's good to know, because I mean, truthfully, it's been a while since I've given my cat catnip. It's one of those things where I'll be at the store and I'll see, Temptations, and I'll grab that for him, or I'll grab him some wet food. But, that's something that's always on my list of things to get, but I don't get, because I'm a bad cat mom, and I want to be a good cat mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I love my cat. I want to spoil him.
Absolutely.
you know.
And I got Evol all the different types of catnip, and it's whenever I pass, especially like a small like mom and pop type pet shop, I always pop in and just like, okay, what can I get her? Like the spoilers, so it's just like any little toy, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. And I remember even a place on Ronsonsville here before was like, oh yeah, this is like the best catnip at one point too, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, what makes it better? And they're just like, oh, I don't know. It's just really good. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. And that's like way before this. So it's funny hearing that and thinking back on it now that I've done all this research on it. But then I'd give it to Evol and she'd be good with it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't knock any of the catnip that's out there. It's something that they really enjoy. And I've just kind of upgraded it in a sense. So,
well, you've definitely branded it to be fun for both your cat and you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
I mean,
you can try the different strains, try all the different reactions, and yeah, no, it's super fun. But when I started studying herbs too, like quite a bit, and how and then I was looking that all catnip companies basically dehydrate it, which makes sense for production. It's like they clip it out in the field and they probably wash it and then dehydrate it. It takes about 4 hours and it's ready. And they grind it all up and then they can just fill their packaging and it's good to go. But when you dehydrate it, it takes up to 80% of the essential oil that gets them high out of it, which is called nepetalactone. So basically fries the essential oil, like up to 80% of it, and which makes it weaker and takes the flavor out of it, and it kind of just makes it more bland. So like with cannabis, I started, when I clip it, I wash it like thoroughly, like I have like double filtered water, and I put it through like a bunch of different washes here in my apartment, and then I put it up to hang dry for 4 weeks. And then I put them into glass jars with humidor packs for 3 to 4 weeks as well, too. Letting air out once a day to twice a day sort of thing, just to let it breathe, and it brings it back. But it keeps all of the essential oil, for the most part, in there, making it a lot stronger, more flavorful. And then keeping it whole as well, too. So I even got like these little, I started doing these little catnip grinders here, too. Right? So it comes whole, and then you grind it up fresh. And it's even more potent at that point too. And you notice it when you're grinding it up as well. You smell it, and it smells like catnip you've never smelled before at that point. So
I am learning so much about catnip right now. I had no idea.
Oh yeah, I have had no life for the last since like the pandemic, basically too. And all my spare time before that too, I'd be on the road or something, and that's like I'd be in my bunk on the bus, and I'm just sketching things out, just on the internet, looking different things up, coming up with different ideas, writing them down. So when I get home, it's like, all right, go time. And then in between projects. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time, a lot of time.
I love it. I love the energy that you have and the passion that you have. I 100% relate. Like, I feel like you're the kind of person where if you have a spare moment, you're using it to be creative. Like, you're on your phone, writing out your idea while you're looking up that thing that you want to make a picture of, and then you just don't stop.
Yeah, it takes a lot to do this, and I burn out. Don't get me wrong. Like, and all of a sudden it'll wipe me out, and I'm done for a week, and then I'll come back, bounce back like super. It actually just happened recently too, and I just like bounced back into it. I'm like, all right, got to get out to the fields, and it's just. But yeah, it's a whole lot, from all the different packaging, like even just ordering in each different color bag to getting the labels printed up for them, getting the artwork, and like I sketch out all the ideas, and then I found a person in the Philippines who does all the labels too, and then we just work back and forth with my sketches, and then he always knocks it out of the park. Like I'm super lucky I found him.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it's just like I had to do research to find that even too, and yeah.
I don't think people really realize how much goes into the genesis, or like from the genesis to the actual, culmination of your idea.
Yeah.
Of it.
Every little detail, right? So even down to why I picked the Mylar bags as well too. It's like foil lined on the inside. It's food grade. And so it keeps it fresh even longer. as well too. And I noticed that going into dispensaries, they would put their cannabis in here if you got like a good amount of it, and it would keep it a lot fresher, a lot longer than just like a normal baggie. And I was seeing like most catnip companies out there, they would just have, it was kind of like the dollar store toy packaging. It would be like a plastic bag with a cardboard stapled,
Yeah.
or it'd be in like a plastic container. And it's kind of like, yeah, it definitely doesn't keep its actual flavor even more because of it. So I thought like, oh, okay. And it lasts really long in here. It's resealable as well too. And it's got the zip bag, and
it looks legit. It looks like a legitimate product because
absolutely.
it's a legitimate product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, in of itself, it's impressive that you've, gone from idea to Kickstarter to making this happen. But what really, really impresses me is that you're doing this during a pandemic.
Yep.
You have launched this during a time that is so stressful and so uncertain. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. Like, what made you decide that this is the moment? This is when I'm going to do it?
I didn't really have many options of that. I mean, like, I'll always come up with something or come up with some sort of hustle to keep it going. But I just really believed in this project. And I didn't want to get distracted from it. And I had all this time because of it. And I just sort of thought like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to dive in. Because whenever I have an idea and it's going and it starts picking up, I get distracted by something else. Like people are just sort of like, hey, come and do this. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool. I'll run away with the freak show. Why not? And then it's just the idea kind of like fizzles out from there. And then it's just like, oh, no, I got to bring it back. And but I know for this one, I just super believed in it. And when I had the time, it was just a no-brainer. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to figure out how to make this work. And it's crazy because there's so many little details that go into it as well. So with the Kickstarter, I wanted to get a place to scale up to, like find a nice little like hobby farm that I can rent out just a little bit north of here. But when I noticed it went completely viral, I was just like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, people are in the States were messaging me the next day being like, oh yeah, like, hey, can I share this link? And I'm like, oh, absolutely. Or like, how can I order this? And it's like, oh, here's the link to the Kickstarter. Here's the link. It's like, oh, it's in the States. Okay, so I got to do intellectual property in the States next too. So that's where the money in the Kickstarter went to. So I was like, oh, I didn't get it to the scale up part, but you have to cover the bases because anybody could have just picked all these up down there. And it's, I mean, there's more people in California than there is in Canada, which I learned. And like in all of Canada. So it's like their market is huge down there as well.
Absolutely. So. And that's something that I think a lot of, entrepreneurs and creators forget. You have to protect your intellectual property. I was speaking with Jim Swearingen last week, who's, the creative designer from Kenner, who was the first one to create the Star Wars line. And he made a very good point. You have to protect your intellectual property. You need to hire someone to make sure that legally you are covered, because the poor man's copyright where you just send it to yourself by register mail is not enough anymore.
Yeah.
You're so smart to put your money into that, because that will protect you down the road.
Yep, absolutely. And like a big thing, because I hired lawyers to do it because I suck at business, and anything paperwork, I'm like, ugh. Yeah. It's just like paperwork comes in front of me. It's like name. I'm like, I can't. I just throw it away. I'm like, no, I'm done. Yeah. I'm walking away. I don't care. But lawyers were constantly like, oh, you have to get like the .com. You have to get this. You have to sell it online. So you have a paper trail. You have to have this and that. Like it's not just filing for it and getting it. There's so many other steps that make it legit as well too. So it's you have to be selling it online at that point too. So you can't just like come up with an idea apparently and then do nothing with it, like pay all the money to get it done. So it's like, oh, okay. So I'm learning as I go with every step, and I love problem solving. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Here's another little one, and it's my walls here kind of look like I'm trying to solve a murder right now because it's just like different writing and different things up there. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I got to figure this part out.
Oh my God, Mikey, I relate, and I love that. If you look at my studio here, I call it Hot Mess Headquarters, because it's a working functional studio, but oh man, what you don't see on the camera is this hot mess of creativity and, organized chaos behind this monitor.
Oh yeah. I mean, you kind of have to have that too, right? Like, I love it. Like every wall here is a different project that I'm working on too, or that I've been building. So it's kind of it inspires me in a sense too. So it's like I have my ketchup art wall, then I have like the green screen here, and then there's like the Catnip Dispensary, and then there's a sideshow area. And then there was another, the last Kickstarter that I did was for an anti-chafe cream that I came up with. And by working festivals, I noticed that everybody was complaining about chafe. Like this is going back like 4 years, and it was just like, oh, okay. I'm just like, well, what do you do? And it's like, guys are always just like, oh, my balls stick to my leg and I get chafe because we're working festivals out in the summer. I was like, chafe? Like, I've never, like, is it like, oh, it's horrible. I'm like, oh, what do you do? They're like, baby powder. And I was just like, okay, does it work? They're like, not really, but it does something. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like a week later, I ended up getting chafe and I was like, whoa, this is horrible. Like, this is a thing? Like, So like, obviously my mind focuses, I'm looking online like, oh, what is there out there? What can I get? And there's nothing. And I kept seeing everybody post about it. It's just like, no way. Like this is not
sticker rash.
Yep. Yeah. And so I thought like, oh, okay, here I go again. So I when the winter came up, I turned my apartment, like a corner of my apartment, into a lab, and I just started researching and coming up with ideas into making like a stick. I had like a deodorant idea, so I was like looking at all natural products, and then breaking it down too. So it's like it can go on dry, but when there's friction, it turns into a gel. So it took me about 2 months to come up with it, with all my stagehand friends and line cook friends and everybody that would like complain about their balls sticking to their leg and getting chafe. And so I started like testing them out, and I was just like, I might have been like a scientist in a previous life or something, because I would just like try out all different ingredients, and then I have everything written out.
Wow.
And I ordered in like little mini tubes, and then I would fill them into the tubes after mixing it all together, throw it in the fridge, it would become solid, and then it'd be like, it would have like a number on it, or it'd be like A1 or something like that. And then I would give them to friends that I was working with, and it's like, here, try this one out. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, no, it's like way too messy. I'm like, oh, okay. So it needs to be more solid, needs this. Oh, okay, cool. And then I would just tweak it little bits by little bits. And then all of a sudden I came up with the one, and they're like, this is the one, like, this is perfect. Like, holy, they're like, it even like healed my chafe, because I guess you get rash as well too. I was like, no way. Okay. And that's why I just like stuck with that one and kept going with it. And then I had to come up with the name too, which was for it, because it was, guys' scrotums were getting chafe and causing it. I came up with descroderant for it.
Descroderant.
Yeah, and then I actually have a nice little cheeky.
I want to see this.
Yeah, a nice little cheeky ball swinging palm trees, but it's an actual like deodorant stick as well too. But it was the anti-chafe thing, and
great.
So it's just became obsessed with it, right? So it's just
I would become obsessed with it too, because I mean, as a woman, I get like the thigh rub, and that part sucks.
Yeah,
but that's the closest I can relate to chafing, because I don't have balls to get in the way. But I imagine that's not fun.
Yep. And I hear underboob as well too. A lot of people were coming up to me when I was doing this one, being like, underboob, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, okay, I'm on it. I'm like, this will work. Here, I give them.
You think that would work for underboob?
What's that?
Do you think that would work for underboob?
Oh, it does. Yeah. It's just like, it's pretty much like everything. So I came up with a couple of other lines. I can't really say the name right now because I didn't get those ones covered yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to be bringing this back as well too when I have a bit more time and a little bit more of a workspace. But there is a female version, and then just like an all-in-one version as well too. So because it works, it just
market over here.
Yep, absolutely. I'll definitely send you some.
Well, I know quite a few women who would be very interested in that.
Oh, absolutely. I had no idea at the time. I didn't even know about chafe before this, so when I saw there was nothing out there, I was like, all right, challenge accepted. I'm going to figure this out. And then it's just like, I'm no stranger to isolation. So it's just like in the winters, I'm like, okay, I need a project. And it would be ketchup art. And then the next winter is descroderant. Then, the next winter it's catnip. And then it just kind of keeps going. And I'm trying to scale up. My dream right now is to get a lot of acreage somewhere, some land.
Okay.
And because I feel like what I can accomplish in a bachelor apartment right now, that's not that big. I can only imagine if I became a free range Mikey and had like 20 acres or something. It's like, all right, I'm going to do this over here. And it's just like,
Yeah, that's true.
Is it just research things and then just, I'll grow my own and then test it out and make it fresher or something, or the ingredients that go into the next thing that I'm solving or whatnot.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You're going to be like the cool, not evil Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons.
Right? Yeah.
All the cool inventions and comes up with all the really cool, things that further mankind, as it were.
Yeah. I mean, like, I kind of feel like most people these days, not to like sound like negative for the most part, but they complain a lot about certain things. And it's like, would somebody come up with this? And I kind of like, I don't hear their complaints so much, like, and it's not like contagious to me, because it really is contagious to other people. But it's like, I take that as I learned from it. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like someone's complaining to me about something. I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, is that worthwhile? It's just like, that's where like ideas come from for the most part. So there's many things. There's so many things out there that I want to tackle. But it's, it's like say with the catnip right now, my main thing is I've found out how to make it almost like, I don't know if it's like the best way possible or whatnot. I'm not going to claim to have the best, but I find like most companies do that already. But I find if you figure out how to do it, like take something to the next level that you're not satisfied with it, just do it and try to just lead by example. And so when people are like, oh, are you afraid like other companies are going to do it? I'm like, no, I totally I encourage it, because that's a win for cats everywhere. But I'm like, I just hope that they actually take the time to do it this method too. It's like, any catnip company out there, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm doing this one for the kitties. So.
Absolutely. Now I want to make sure that everybody knows how they can order this from you.
Yeah. So right now I have like a limited supply. So on August 7th, I'm going to be at Parkdale Pet Foods.
Okay.
And I'm working on a website right now too. And I'll be able to be shipping it out shortly in that sense. So that'll be the next step.
Well, in the meantime, I encourage everybody to follow you at Catnip Dispensary on Instagram, because then they can see your updates. Yeah,
that's exactly where I'm posting everything right now, because everything is so much to take in. At times, my brain is all over the place, as you can imagine. So it's every little detail to even which field am I going to today, and it's just like, and I have like all the dates on a dry erase board here too of the last time I was there, and it's just. Okay, it grew in this much at this time. So it's like for every little detail, I'm just like, my brain's all over the place. So when it comes to social media, I try to keep up with it, but all the updates are on the Instagram there, the Catnip Dispensary page.
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna make sure that everybody knows to follow that when I do my gratitude post tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Because I am just so excited for you and everything that is happening for you. I remember when you blew up online, like everybody from BlogTO to, oh my gosh, so many different things in the States were covering you. I can't even remember all the media outlets, but you were blowing up everywhere. Oh yeah.
It's fun. There's like there's something that's pretty big that's potentially coming up. I'm not allowed to say anything because NDAs, but if my episode gets picked, it's going to be pretty wild.
I love NDAs.
Yep. So I'm really hoping that the episode I was on gets picked, and if it does, it's going to be awesome. So and I can't wait to share it if when it comes out, when I'm allowed to say something.
Oh, my mind's already going like this. Like, I wonder what it is. Another part of me is like, I think I know. Yep. That is so wicked. Yeah. Oh my God. Guys, do you have any questions for Mikey? Because I know everyone's kind of been just so focused and watching right now, but I'm just so blown away about what you're doing, and I really wish you the best of luck. I can't wait for Jack to try all the strains, because I don't know if
we'll get it over to him. Yeah, we'll definitely get it over to him really soon.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to try and come on by at some point on the 7th if I'm available, just to come support and
awesome.
Show a little love, guys.
Yeah.
Open up your calendar. It's a Saturday. It'll be a beautiful day. Come on over.
There's all sorts of fun toys for Jack over there as well too, if he's into toys. So
he actually does have a stuffed pickle that has catnip in it.
Nice.
So he loves to play with his pickle in front of people all the time.
That's super exciting.
That's right. He's a good cat. Mikey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You have completely inspired me yet again. I'm so stoked by what you're doing, and I wish you all the best. And
Thank you so much.
I look forward to circling back with you again in the future because I see nothing but amazing things for you. You
Awesome.
are
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, Liz. I'm like, this is so awesome.
I'm so happy I finally got you on. You are a very, very busy entrepreneur, so I'm very, very blessed and grateful that you were able to join us tonight.
Absolutely. I had an awesome time.
Thank you so much, Mikey. Don't go away. I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody, but stay on the line, okay?
I'm hanging out. Awesome.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thank you.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know every week you guys are, you pay such close attention, and I appreciate it so much. I love when you participate, and this show is all about you, and it's for you. And that's why, I make sure every week that I bring on a guest who is so exciting and so inspiring and just so passionate. And you guys are, you're my people, and I'm just so proud of all of you. If you ever miss a show, you can see us archived on my YouTube channel, Planet Lizzdom. But we're also syndicated now on Carney Show on Twitch every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. our time, followed by the Devil's Hour. Jeff Peterson's doing some really great things over there, so check it out. And if you really love what I'm doing and you really want to support, feel free to send me a little love at paypal.me/Lizzdom. It does help pay for my internet and my apps, and it really just kind of lets me know that you're watching and that you're enjoying the show. Every little bit counts, even just enough for a coffee. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. I have a really, really great summer lined up for you, and I'm not going to tell you who is coming up next week because I want it to be a surprise. But in the meantime, I want you all to be well. I want you to enjoy the summer, and I want you guys to tune in, turn on, and take part, because you never know who's going to land right here on Planet Lizzdom. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.